Okay, so we're always hearing about how AI is going to change everything, right? Jobs, art, you name it. But what if the real endgame here is something way, way bigger? Something so radical it's hard to even wrap your head around. What if AI's ultimate destination is the end of money?
I know, it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, doesn't it? But seriously, there are some pretty compelling predictions out there that suggest as AI gets smarter and smarter, the very reason we invented money in the first place might just vanish. So in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how that could happen, one step at a time.
All right, so a world without money. How on earth do we get there? Well, the whole journey really kicks off with understanding the three big stages of AI's evolution. This is the power that's going to drive all this change.
So the final destination on this AI roadmap is something called ASI, or Artificial Superintelligence. And look, we're not just talking about a slightly smarter Siri here. This is something else entirely. Try to imagine an intellect that is smarter than every single human brain combined throughout all of history. It wouldn't just be solving our problems. It would fundamentally master the laws of physics. We're talking about maybe using nanotechnology to build things atom by atom, curing every disease, ending pollution, and creating basically limitless resources. It's almost godlike.
And here's the crazy part. This timeline shows just how fast this all might happen. Right now, today, we're living in the age of ANI, or Artificial Narrow Intelligence. That's the AI that's really good at one specific thing, like the generative AI we see everywhere. But look ahead. By around 2030, we could hit AGI, that's Artificial General Intelligence, with cognitive abilities a lot like a human's. But the real game changer, the moment everything flips, that's projected for around 2040, with the arrival of ASI. And that right there is the moment our entire economic system as we know it could become totally obsolete.
Okay, so with that kind of incredible, almost magical power on the horizon, it forces us to take a step back and ask a really fundamental question. Why do we even have money to begin with?
When you strip it all down, money is really just a tool. It's our best solution for a single, massive problem: scarcity. See, it's a piece of technology we invented to manage a world where there just isn't enough of everything to go around for everyone. I want you to really hold on to that word, scarcity, because it is the absolute bedrock of our entire economy.
And that brings us to the biggest question of this whole explainer. If this ASI, this superintelligence, can basically create infinite resources and energy, if it can solve the problem of scarcity for good, then what happens to money? What happens to the tool we invented specifically to deal with that one problem?
This is where it gets really, really interesting. The idea is that money won't just poof, disappear overnight. No. Instead, it's predicted to evolve, to transform through three totally distinct stages as AI begins to reshape our world.
So, here's the roadmap. First, the whole point of money changes. Then, it gets replaced by a totally different system, one based on resources. And finally, it morphs into something we've never seen before, an economy that's actually based on human connection.
So let's look at stage one. Imagine a world where ASI and automation are handling pretty much all production. Suddenly, ideas like universal basic income, or UBI, aren't just theories, they're the new normal. That link we all have in our heads between working to live and getting paid, that's broken. Money isn't for survival anymore. It becomes more like points you use to get cool, special experiences, or maybe super customized gadgets, the non-essentials.
All right, now stage two is where things get really wild. With ASI managing everything, all the production and distribution, well, money just becomes pointless. It's replaced by something like an energy credit system. Don't think of it as a bank account. It's more like a universal resource allowance that the ASI gives to everyone directly. And get this, in a world with perfect supply meeting perfect demand instantly, all those economic ideas we obsess over today, like investments, debt, inflation, they don't mean anything anymore. They're gone.
And that brings us to the final stage, stage 3. At this point, AI has made all the basics, food, housing, healthcare, totally free for everyone. There's no need for money at all. So what's left to value? What becomes the new currency? Well, it's the stuff that AI can't just generate out of thin air. Genuine reputation, trust, human creativity, empathy. Your value might be measured by something like a trust score based on your contributions and your relationships. And this score, it doesn't buy you stuff. Instead, it might get you access to a one-on-one conversation with a genius or a spot at a really exclusive, unique event.
So what you're seeing is a complete rewriting of what it means to be wealthy.
I mean, if you don't have to chase money just to survive, what does a rich life even look like anymore?
While the whole definition just flips on its head. Money is no longer the ultimate prize. Time is. Instead of chasing efficiency, we start chasing meaningful experiences. Instead of collecting more stuff, we focus on building deeper relationships. Being wealthy is no longer about what you own, it's about what you experience and who you share those experiences with.
You know, it's easy to think of this as losing something, like losing money. But the idea here is that it's not a loss at all. It's an upgrade. It's about being elevated. Once you take that constant struggle for survival off the table, humanity is finally free to focus on, well, on everything else.
And this quote just nails it. Economic activity gets elevated from this relentless pursuit of efficiency to the creation of a reason for living. Just think about that. Our whole society could shift its focus to helping each and every person find their purpose, their why.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question to chew on. In a world where all your needs are taken care of, where money is just gone, what would you do with your life? What would become truly, genuinely valuable to you?